Chapter 153 The Sudden Battle Scorpion. Hai Dafu was tricked. This is going to be a bit troublesome, the summoner student Zheng Bingxiao remarked. The student with the very long face laughed. Isn't that even better? Eliminating one would leave the remaining 5 of us to fight for the beast refinement blood. Big brother, we still have 6 people. Did a magic teacher teach you math? Zheng Bingxiao wondered aloud. Is there even a need to include him? He doesn't even dare to summon his summoned beast. Longface glanced at Mo Fan, who seemed to be an outcast. A couple of days ago, their teacher, Zhang Yunming, had asked everyone to summon their beasts for an evaluation. Mo Fan's spirit wolf was still sleeping, and so naturally it wasn't summoned. Additionally, Mo Fan wasn't in the same dormitory as the other 6 students, and so he became the one who didn't fit in with the group. Don't say that. No matter what, the 7 of us belong to the same element. Furthermore, Zhang Yunming also said if we don't accumulate wins against 100 people, then he will give the beast refinement blood to those from other elements. That would mean a big loss for us, Zheng Bingxiao reminded him. The number of wins, that was just a statement for the summoner students. Right now, they were essentially fighting all of the elements in the school by themselves. Mr. Zhang Yunming had very high demands for them. It was not them being able to win against all of the elemental students in the school, but they had to defeat at least 100 challengers. This would mean each of them would have to win against an average of 15 or so students of other elements. The first one to go out, Hai Dafu, seemed to be on the losing side. From how Zheng Bingxiao saw it, reaching 100 wins would be a relatively difficult task. Don't worry about it. If you guys can't reach the quota, then I will single-handedly take care of it, the long-faced student declared with a devious smile as his Dongbei accent came out. Wang Liting, you sure know how to bullshit. Hai Dafu was standing in the middle of the arena with astonishment on his face. Although he was astonished, he did not panic. Instead, he looked at the delicate man who was rubbing his nose as he said with ridicule, "It seems like all of your energy was spent on this little trick. Did you not know that an insect-type beast's vision is already bad to begin with?" Just when Hai Dafu finished speaking, the white-armored battle scorpion emitted an angry sound. It ferociously pulled its front legs out of the rock shield. It did not need to use its blinded eyes to locate its objective. The white-armored battle scorpion ferociously swept in the small student's direction. The student's face suddenly turned white. He hadn't expected that this white-armored battle scorpion would still be able to accurately judge his location despite losing its vision. Pooh! The student's chest was struck by the white-armored battle scorpion as he was sent flying, blood spurting out like a fountain. He flew a bit more than 10 meters away. His entire being was completely knocked out. His face turned as white as paper. Soon enough, the light element teacher, Ji Yu Han, entered the arena and quickly removed the unconscious student to get treated. His student had instantly fallen unconscious, the blood in his mouth continuously bubbling forth. "Ms. Ruan Ya, please take care of him." Ji Yu Han put his student down as he indifferently spoke to the woman next to him wearing a white uniform. "You should have gone and protected him. This wound is not light." Ruan Ya helplessly shook her head. "I don't want to waste my magic energy unless it's a life-threatening situation." As Hai Dafu watched the wounded student being dragged off the arena, he laughed even more splendidly than before. "Have a taste of my lightning strike," the blue-haired student yelled out, his face filled with rage. He didn't stand too far away as he lifted his arm. The lightning that curled like a snake began to float above his head. Under his command, all of the lightning imprints frantically whipped toward the white-armored battle scorpion, the dazzling purple radiance shining brightly. "You fool, your lightning is nothing." Hai Dafu cursed at him. The lightning scars lashed the carapace of the white-armored battle scorpion. The lightning arc was continuously transmitting through the skin, and then directly passed into the bone marrow. This caused great damage as well as paralysis to the vast majority of creatures. However, this time, the lightning whip was hitting the white carapace of the white-armored battle scorpion. Scorches appeared on its armor, but its effect was unable to reach the muscles of the white-armored battle scorpion. The white-armored battle scorpion didn't even slow down. It took a step with its back legs while the lightning prints were still electrocuting its body as it rammed into the blue-haired caster. "Fuck off!" Hai Dafu shouted. The scorpion's triangular hammer of a head collided with the blue-haired man, and he was directly sent flying. No one knew when Mr. Ji Yu Han appeared in front of the blue-haired student, and he quietly dragged the lightning student away to the healing instructor. "There's only you two left." Dafu coldly swept his gaze past the other two guys. The two guys clenched their teeth as they cowered. Unfortunately, their spells were clearly of no use against the battle scorpion with its armor. The wind element student could perhaps rely on his agile body movement to evade the relatively slow white-armored battle scorpion. However, Dafu was in no rush to command his summoned beast to attack. He quietly waited until the other party's magic energy depleted. At last, the wind student surrendered. After he easily defeated 4 people, Dafu's dominating performance immediately caused the challengers in the line to hesitate. However, the Pearl Institute was not lacking in those who dared to fight, and so another 5 students quickly leapt up on the stage. The 5 students had learned from the earlier match. Their group arrangement this time was clearly much better than last. Water element was responsible for protection, the wind continuously distracted it, and fire constantly scorched it. This battle lasted for a bit of time. However, they were unable to stand up against the ferocious white-armored battle scorpion in the end. When the third challenger team came, Dafu's white-armored battle scorpion's combat prowess had distinctly weakened. It no longer had that dominance it had in the beginning. Dafu clenched his teeth as he wiped the floor with the group of 6 people. When it reached the 4th round, the white-armored battle scorpion was finally no longer able to withstand the waves of attack as it was defeated by a fire element girl and sent back to the dimensional space. Dafu was unable to accept it. In his previous school, he was able to defeat 40 or 50 people without a problem. Who would have thought that he could only get rid of 15 people at Pearl Institute? With that score, he might not be able to obtain the beast refinement blood. "Your turn." Long-faced Wang Liding glanced at the relatively short and skinny man. The short and skinny man quickly shook his head. "I'm really bad. I don't even know if I can last a round." "Don't worry, even if you can't defeat a single one of them, I will make up for it. I just want to know the numbers. How about letting Mo Fan go first?" the short and skinny guy said to Mo Fan. "My summoned beast is heavily injured. I'll rely on you guys to make up the numbers." Mo Fan didn't try to hide it as he directly declared the situation. "I knew you were just a waste," Wang Liding sneered. Mo Fan wasn't angry, but he silently took note of this hostility as he considered how he'd return that slap in the future. "If you're that good, then you go. Stop bullshitting. Do you want to bet that I can use lightning to directly destroy you? You're really pampering." Chapter 154 The Sinister Luo Song. When the short and skinny student entered the stage, he summoned a spirit wolf. Mo Fan had already seen this spirit wolf during class. It was clear that it was a spirit wolf that had not yet come of age. Its combat prowess was nowhere close to Mo Fan's spirit wolf, maybe half the size of his. After the student had entered the stage, it was clear that he seemed timid. The surrounding people looked at him in ridicule, and he began to feel embarrassed. As expected, he didn't live up to everyone's expectations. In the first round, a shadow element student played so many tricks on him that he began to pant. He returned to the others with his face completely red as he whispered, I will do my best in cultivating. In the future, in this kind of competition, I definitely won't make you guys lose face." "Not bad, you finished off 2 idiots," the long-faced Wang Liding said with a hint of mockery. "Don't worry, we will definitely make up for it. The next one will be me," Zheng Bingxiao declared. Zheng Bingshao's summoned beast was a rock demon soldier. Its combat prowess was a bit stronger than the white-armored battle scorpion. The white-armored battle scorpion was relatively weak against fire. Heat transmitted into its body through its carapace would roast it alive. The rock demon soldier was completely immune to the fire element, and furthermore, even lightning element spells were completely ineffective against it. The rock demon soldier's biggest problem was its speed. It was simply really slow. They didn't have to use any movement spells to evade its incredibly powerful punch. However, the rock demon soldier possessed the ability to control the earth. This ability allowed it to reach wherever it needed to go. It was able to annihilate 4 teams in succession. "Good job, Zheng Bingxiao. As expected of our class representative, ha ha ha," a couple of the summoners shouted excitedly. Look at the lightning and fire element people's expressions. They possess the strongest attack element in the primary level, so they are extremely arrogant. In the end, they have all been turned into children in front of Zheng Bingxiao's summoned beast. This truly feels good. We've already eliminated 23 people. The other elements are just dregs. Zheng Bingxiao was standing inside the cage. The normally good-natured student now exuded an aura that made people want to run away from him. At the same time, it was also winning the favor of many girls. However, the young men from other elements were now in a bad spot. They were being beaten within an inch of their lives. Soon enough, the fifth group came up, and they did not know whether the fifth team would be able to win against him. I didn't know there was a summoning element at the primary level. Now I finally know that the summoning element is actually this abnormal. They are able to beat us in groups. How are other elements supposed to fight against it? Soon enough, the students sitting on the mats began to discuss things. The summoning element was able to withstand all of the other elements. Even the lightning students had no choice but to admire them. They're only strong at the primary level. Who knows if they're strong at the intermediate level? Didn't you see that guy who summoned a small spirit wolf? Most of the first-time summons are just like him. They rely too much on their summoned beasts for their cultivation. It is very hard for them to capture a strong summoned creature without the help of precious auxiliary tools. A couple of people who knew of this spoke up. However, in school, it's better to not mess with the summoners. This rock demon soldier looks like it can't endure anymore. It had been bombarded by so many experts continuously. Yeah. Zheng Bingxiao finally could not endure the attacks of so many challengers, and he finally retreated after eliminating 25 people. I've heard that the rock demon soldier is the strongest summoned beast they have, a student sitting in the audience muttered hopefully. If there's no mistake, there should be a bone corpse demon. That creature is extremely cruel. It should be the most abnormal one among all of the summoned creatures. If the primary magicians don't make a group of more than 10 people, then they will be annihilated by it. Let's just find something easier. I think so too. It's my turn. There should be about 40 in number now. If I'm feeling good, then you guys won't have to do anything. Wang Liding took a step forward, his expression filled with arrogance. Zhang Yunming, still standing off to the side, cast him a glance as he indifferently said, "The higher the head count, the more resources you will obtain. Then you guys can lay down and obtain resources." Wang Liding raised his eyebrows toward everyone as he strode toward the iron cage. Wang Liding was not simply bragging, he quickly summoned his beast. As expected, his summoned beast was just like the rumors, the cruel bone corpse demon. The bone corpse demon was like a condor. It had wings on its back, and its combat prowess was not as high as the other summoned beasts. However, its ability to fly was enough to shake its challengers. It was quick, crafty, and it always chose the most fitting time to take action. It was fast enough to do a surprise attack on a magician before they could finish linking their star path, and it was nimble enough to easily evade everyone's primary magic. If the rock demon soldier was the type of creature that could endure the spells to its body, then the bone corpse demon could make the spells miss continually, taking no harm whatsoever. As the bone corpse demon came out, all of the people immediately turned into weak hares that were waiting to get killed. All Wang Liding needed to do was to stand there and count the numbers. I've heard the summoners have a quota. They need to defeat 100 of us, or else their resources will be distributed to the students of other elements who have performed well. Shit, this bone corpse demon will probably fill half of the quota. No matter how many teams challenge it, it will still be of no use. The people in the Earth area, next to Li Junwei, began to comment. Indeed, could it be that there is no one who can defeat this bone corpse demon? There are definitely experts, however, they may not want to make a move. While the few people were discussing this, a prominently fat head popped out and asked, "Did you say that the summoners have a quota?" "Yeah, they need to withstand the attacks of 100 people," that person said. A sinister smile emerged on Luo Song's face, his eyes fixed on Mo Fan, who had yet to come on stage. "So if we don't let them reach their quota, then the resources that were originally for them will be given to our Earth school?" Luo Song asked further. "Naturally, you'd be getting a lot. However, our Earth element is of no use against that bone corpse demon." "You don't need to thank me later." Luo Song stood up from his chair as he slowly walked toward the challenge registration entrance. "Thank you for what?" they asked in confusion. Luo Song continued to walk forward. He had already arrived at the entrance for challenge registration. Due to the bone corpse demon being too excessively domineering, the challengers couldn't help but give way. It was clear that they did not want to mess with the bone corpse demon. Luo Song smoothly moved to the front of the line. Originally, Luo Song didn't want to make his move. The competition itself was not something an intermediate magician like him should participate in. However, after knowing it would affect the resources obtained by the summoning element students, Luo Song immediately changed his mind. Luo Song, you want to have a go? When Dean Xiao saw Luo Song, his face revealed a bit of irritation. He continued, "Didn't you promise me not to provoke Mo Fan anymore?" "I'm not challenging him," Luo Song directly said. At this moment, Dean Xiao didn't know what to say. Luo Song was also a new student, and the rules said nothing about not letting intermediate-level students participate. After speaking, Luo Song stood in front of the entrance. Indeed, he did promise Dean Xiao that he would not take the initiative to mess with Mo Fan, who was also an intermediate mage. Luo Song didn't plan on fighting against Mo Fan's summoned beast. However, he planned to completely annihilate Mo Fan's classmates. He wanted to see how Mo Fan planned on having his trash spirit wolf deal with the large difference in numbers. The resources of your summoning school will be given to us, the Earth School. Chapter 155 Intermediate, Emerge. Ice Element versus Lightning Element. It was clear that the Lightning Element was much stronger in terms of combat prowess. Luo Song already had a hard time dealing with Mo Fan in terms of intermediate magic. Thus, he definitely could not allow Mo Fan's summoned beast to grow. If his summoned beast were to increase in strength, then he wouldn't be able to contest against it. How could Luo Song let that happen? Thus, if there was something that could obstruct Mo Fan's road of cultivation, then Luo Song would definitely make his move. It just so happened that he did not like the person who was controlling the Bone Corpse Demon. How dare he have such a domineering attitude when he only had a trash-summoned creature? Hilarious. Your Earth Element? The Earth Element is of no use against a Bone Corpse Demon. Why don't you wait for the next team to come? A couple of people who seemed to be wavering said as they saw Luo Song coming. Luo Song didn't even glance at these couple of people as he walked up. Did I say I was going to be in the same group as you? Fuck, you must be amazing, huh? If you've got the ability, then why don't you go and deal with that Bone Corpse Demon by yourself? Yeah, arrogant. I despise those kinds of people, the two people immediately cursed. Luo Song didn't need anyone. He entered the colossal cage. At this moment, the Bone Corpse Demon was circulating arrogantly in the space above Wang Liding. Wang Liding squinted his eyes to size up Luo Song, before laughing and saying, "Little fatty, do you know what my Bone Corpse Demon's favorite thing is? It just so happens to be someone with lots of fat like you. Do you know how many pieces an icicle would shatter into if it was dropped from a 30 or so meter height?" Luo Song looked at Wang Liding. "I think you've got a problem with your brain." Wang Liding didn't know what Luo Song was trying to say, so he commanded the Bone Corpse Demon to attack Luo Song. You should pray for your Bone Corpse Demon's bones to have some endurance, or else dealing with its corpse will be quite troublesome. Luo Song maintained his arrogant aura. While he was speaking, Luo Song had already closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, an aura of great pressure suddenly bubbled forth and covered the entire beast cage. Creak, creak, creak. White frost suddenly appeared on the floor. At first, it was just some star-shaped frost scattered around, which rapidly and aggressively froze everything in its way. In just the blink of an eye, Luo Song had covered the surrounding area in a layer of ice. Ice lock. Luo Song finished the links. Beneath his frozen legs, a magnificent ice star atlas rotated as it displayed incredible energy, spreading out with Luo Song in the center. Rise! With a shout, the frozen ground around Luo Song suddenly ruptured. Within the ruptures, there was a clanking noise, followed by thick chains of ice flying out. Holy crap! Intermediate level. This fatty is an intermediate mage. At this moment, everyone was astonished. Everyone was overwhelmed with shock as they watched Luo Song control the shocking ice chains, their expressions displaying disbelief. Luo Song's classmates' chins dropped down so hard that they nearly shattered. They finally understood what he meant by, "No need to thank me." So what if your summoning element is dominant at the primary level? Once an intermediate mage appears, there won't be any competition. Wang Liding's face was frozen. In the past, he had heard that there was someone among the new students who had already reached the intermediate level, and hadn't quite believed it. However, who would have known there really was someone like that? Furthermore, it just happened to be the fatty right in front of him. Crap. Wang Liding's expression changed as he tried to recall his Bone Corpse Demon. The ice chains let out a chaotic noise before flying out into the air under the control of Luo Song. Even though the Bone Corpse demon was very nimble, it was still not able to shake off the ice chains that surrounded it from all directions. The ice shackles wrapped around the Bone Corpse demon tyrannically. Furthermore, it was suspended in midair, and the icy energy from the chains quickly entered the Bone Corpse demon's body. The Bone Corpse demon's physique wasn't much stronger than low-level magical beasts, and it was completely unable to resist the powerful intermediate magic. Its skin was covered with icy frost, slowly spreading into the interior of its body. Finally, the Bone Corpse demon became an ice statue in the air. At the same time, the ice chains suspending it in the air broke, and the frozen Bone Corpse demon directly fell down from a height of 30 or so meters. Boom! When the ice statue hit the ground, it immediately cracked. This crack stretched from the Bone Corpse demon's claws all the way to its wings. As a result, the wings and claws were turned into smithereens. The ice was spread all over the ground. No, no, no. Wang Liding wasn't even able to speak anymore. He looked as though he was going to kneel down for Luo Song. His family had expended a lot of effort to help him acquire this Bone Corpse demon. Once it died, Wang Liding would become a waste with no way to make a stand in Pearl Institute. The arrogance on his face had vanished. Wang Liding ran toward his summoned beast with his eyes showing his broken spirit. Luo Song's gaze was cold, with not a single hint of sympathy in his eyes. In the real world, there were only the strong who survived and the weak who became food. Luo Song didn't have the habit of showing mercy to the weak, so his actions were completely merciless. "Classmate, calm down. Your summoned beast shouldn't have died yet." Ji Yuhan walked over and swiftly delivered the large block of demon ice statue to the healing teacher, Ruan Ya. Ruan Ya helplessly shook her head, and quickly linked her healing star atlas. Luo Song watched the intermediate healing magic as his lips twitched. With this healing teacher present, the Bone Corpse demon's life would definitely be saved. The entire fight had actually ended very quickly. The commotion amongst the audience had been ongoing since the beginning. The incredible power of intermediate magic was something the students seemed to understand now. The Bone Corpse demon that they couldn't do anything about had been destroyed like trash. "Why don't the two of you come at the same time so we don't waste time?" Luo Song pointed toward the leftover summoner students with domineering arrogance. The leftover two people were extremely angry. They didn't have any intention of backing down. They wanted to take revenge for Wang Liding. "His intermediate ice magic is only able to deal with one of our summoned beasts. I'll let my summoned beast withstand his attack, and you take that chance to deal with him," the two discussed. "All right. It's better if you don't go," Mo Fan told them with good intentions. "Why don't you sit here and stick your head into the ground like an ostrich, you useless thing?" The two people were dorm mates of Wang Liding, and their relationship could be considered quite good. They were in the middle of a fit of anger, so it was natural they didn't bother with what Mo Fan said. Mo Fan had already done his best to persuade them. There's nothing he could do if they refused to listen to him. This world certainly did not lack idiots who cussed at their teammates and then delivered their own heads to the enemy. Chapter 156 Awaken, Spirit Wolf. "You want to use a pincer attack?" Luo Song looked at the two summoner students with ridicule in his eyes. Mo Fan's two summoner classmates were really naive. They thought that the intermediate ice magic was only able to deal with one of them, so the other could take advantage of the opportunity. The fact is, Luo Song had no need to use intermediate magic. The primary magic, Ice Spread, first covered Luo Song's surrounding area. The intensity of the ice spread was enough to greatly reduce the speed of the two beasts. Following this move, Luo Song used Earth Ripple to move himself somewhere safer. When he found a good position, he once again used the formidable and terrifying Ice Lock. The Ice Lock was clearly not a single target spell. The thick shackles forcefully locked the two summoned beasts down and quickly turned them into ice blocks. Luo Song dealt with the two beasts without expending much effort. There's only one more summoner student left. I never thought that there'd be an intermediate magician in this competition. Yeah, the last summoner is just cannon fodder. He's no match for Luo Song. We also want to demonstrate our skills. Who would have thought all the attention would be stolen by this person? After Luo Song had finished off the three summoner students, all of the gazes in the audience were focused on the last one remaining, Mo Fan. Mo Fan wasn't stupid. He could clearly see that this fatty Luo wanted to make trouble for him. Luo Song didn't linger, he immediately walked off the arena. He had already achieved his goal. Furthermore, he had also complied with Dean Xiao's order not to provoke Mo Fan, who was also at intermediate level. After Luo Song left, everyone was confused. He should have been able to easily sweep the stage of all 7 of the summoners with his strength as an intermediate mage. So why didn't he just deal with the last one, too? Or did that mean that this guy thought the whole thing was boring, and thus he intentionally left the last one for the primary magicians to play with? Good, there's still one left. We still have an opportunity to display our skills. With the Bone Corpse Demon gone, we won't have anything to be afraid of. Let's go! Li Junwei stood up, his eyes intentionally glancing at Qin Xiaomian to the side. The main character today was definitely Luo Song, who had displayed the power of an intermediate magician. However, the rest of these people couldn't just be swept away by the light of the intermediate magic. It was time for them to make a move. You guys want to challenge him? Qin Xiaomian was slightly flabbergasted as she looked at the young men who always surrounded her. Is it inappropriate? Li Junwei asked. No, good luck. Qin Xiaomian felt she wasn't in a position to say anything. Li Junwei brought his squad along and walked down to the arena of the beast battle competition. After getting to the entrance, there were already people from other elements waiting. These people had the same thought as Li Junwei. Intermediate was intermediate. Although his cultivation speed was indeed extremely astonishing to everyone, it did not mean that everyone else should just linger around and do nothing. Breaking through the next level was something that was hard to understand. Perhaps they would be able to touch upon the doors of the intermediate level through this battle? All of the people who came to Pearl Institute had the intention of attacking the intermediate level. This Luo Song is indeed tactful. However, Mo Fan, it is clear that you are trying to cause trouble for me, Zhang Yunming coldly humphed. It was clear that Luo Song came to destroy the public venue of the summoning element. Zhang Yunming knew of the events that happened between Mo Fan and Luo Song during the day of their tests. I know, but my summoned beast. Mo Fan shrugged. There's nothing he could do about this, especially when his summoned beast was hibernating. Today, he was no different from a waste, so Luo Song had expended all that effort for nothing. It woke up? Mo Fan had attempted to communicate with his spirit wolf without too much hope. Who would have known that the spirit wolf had already woken up? Furthermore, he looked relatively energetic. I really don't want to give in. Hai Dafu clenched his teeth. The other summoners were also very gloomy. Originally, their summoned beasts were supposed to be the main characters of the beast battle competition. They could display their superior strength as much as they wanted. Who would have thought that there'd be an intermediate magician who would take care of 3 of them in one go? This turned all of the summoners into side characters very quickly. It didn't matter anymore because they weren't able to complete the demands set by the teachers in the school. The distributed resources would all be sent to the Earth School, which Luo Song belonged to. The resources of Pearl Institute were quite significant, or else, the people from those noble families would not come here and desperately contest for them. The summoning element's resources for half a year would essentially be given away. They were very unreconciled. Teacher, how about? At this time, Zheng Bingxiao looked at Zhang Yunming, but was stopped in his speech. Zhang Yunming shook his head. The students who have left the stage can no longer go back on. Mo Fan, are you able to summon your summoned beast? If not, then this will be it for today. So what if he can do it? Wang Liding exclaimed, his eyes red. Teacher, could we ask the school to be lenient? My family spend a large amount of money to help me summon a good summoned beast. If the school doesn't give me some resources, then I'm afraid most of us won't be able to reach the intermediate level. It's impossible for them to be lenient. If you want to obtain resources, then you have to rely on yourself. Alright, let's go back everyone. This will be it for the competition today. Although you were completely annihilated by an intermediate magician, I am thoroughly satisfied with your performances. The beast refinement blood will be given to Zheng Bingxiao. Zhang Yunming didn't talk too much about their feelings. He was clear on the positives and negatives. After hearing this, the summoner students all began to cry. There were no resources from school, and they'd be losing a teacher as well. This made them wonder what they're going to do in the future. Mr. Zhang, it seems like my summoned beast has woken up. Mo Fan spoke up abruptly. Oh, then you can go ahead. If you perform well, then the second beast refinement blood will be given to you, Zhang Yunming raised his eyebrow. I just happen to want the beast refinement blood, Mo Fan said. Alright, you can go and take back some face for us in the summoning school, Zhang Yunming said. Mo Fan slowly walked onto the beast battle arena while he communicated with his spirit wolf. Our objective today is to defeat 16 people, Mo Fan said to the spirit wolf. Zheng Bingxiao won against 25 people, and Hai Dafu got rid of 15. Wang Liding was supposed to have the highest numbers, but he was completely annihilated by Luo Song after his 6th person. Thus, if he wanted to obtain the beast refinement blood, then he just had to surpass Hai Dafu's number. Owu, the spirit wolf let out a fearless and energetic howl in reply to Mo Fan. After hearing the energetic and vigorous howl, Mo Fan was astonished. Along with the spirit wolf's howl was a wild and savage aura, and this aura. It seems like 16 people wouldn't be too hard.